welcome everybody for this panel, and we thank you for your time. So today's topic is Biden's agenda for the coming years. So everybody has heard his union speech, which was more like his spending agenda speech than the union speech. But that contained two major parts. One was the families plan, and other is the infrastructure plan. So 1.8 trillion for family plan and 2 trillion for infrastructure plan. Well, let's all be discussed, because whatever you heard, anybody's opinion.
Okay, Baljinder ji, thank you. Let me start with the Arun Bomitra. Let me say that question there. Baljinder ji, then you can ask that your question also. What is the Biden's plan and priorities? Arun ji.
Anji, thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be again on this panel today. So Biden's economic agenda. Well, first of all, I'm going to ask you a question. How many zeros are there in trillion? Come on, all of you guys are good in math. 12 zeros.
Oh God, I can say 30.
We have no freaking clue what it is. But there's $4 trillion in additional spending on programs that echoes the New Deal and the Great Society. So
I think it's 9.
No, again, no, yaar, 1 million with 6 again. So anyway, whatever it is.
9 zeros.
9 zeros is unfathomable. Well, that's okay. We'll go along with what you say, sir. Basically, his plans basically are in the first 100 days have been dominated by infrastructure, children, families, and education, which expand the social safety net for children. And that it leaves the groundwork for increased taxes on the wealthy and fund projects. Overall, his approach is not about stimulating the economy, but more or less stabilizing the long term with middle-class jobs and proving that a democracy, even a bitterly divided, can function. His basically thing was what Franklin Roosevelt said at another era. Let's do our part. But I guess what's there, the economic recovery is at 6.4%, which is very good. But now he's focusing on income inequality, systematic racism, and shortfalls in public investment. They are basically, a lot of these aides are working on distributing billions of dollars in relief packages for housing assistance, school upgrades, the state and local government. So basically now once he gets this thing stabilized, he can work on bigger problems like gun violence, immigration, and voting rights. So that basically is going, and of course, what Biden is looking from what he's going to England next week, the next couple of days to England to set up an economic treaties with them. Since England left the European Union, they have to have bilateral treaties with them. Then, of course, go down to NATO in Brussels, and then, of course, they're going to be a trip to Russia. That's what they say about his thing. But the thing, what all that money and all his spending is going to lead to stagflation. Anybody familiar with that term, stagflation? Stagflation occurs during an unusual confluence of high inflation, lower economic growth, and high unemployment. Normally, high inflation happens during periods of rapid economic expansion and low unemployment. On the opposite side is low economic growth and high unemployment occur during periods of low information. Stagflation combines, I'm not going to take too much time, give me about a minute or two to finish this, combines worst of everything, particularly for middle class and lower class. So that leads to higher prices. Now, do you guys remember the Carter years? I'm sure a lot of you are there. But people who are less than 50, and I think, Puneet, I think you're probably less than 50. So stagflation, hey, I got to pick on you. You went to DPS, I went to St. Columbus. We were rivals. Stagflation akin to a unicorn, something like one read in books but has not encountered. But guys, wait. Very soon, you are going to be seeing that what happens in this country. The reason I say that, because the consumer price index was up by 2.6% in March. The wholesale price index went up by 4.2%. Food is more expensive. Housing is through the roof. And I was shocked at the gas prices. I went to fill gas at my electric car last week, $4.89. Guys, I didn't know if electric cars take gas, but nevertheless. So going forward, guys, basically what we are saying is that the unemployment every week is like 750,000 people. So, we got to be fearful of new taxes. And that's what they're talking about. Small businesses are reluctant to hire and expand. More than 100 small businesses have undergone because of the pandemic. Biden's policies won't help them reopen, which is necessary to spur economic growth. So, guys, Reagan understood best when he says America works best when Americans are working, and that government is all too often in the way of small business and entrepreneurs. But that's not what's happening now. Biden administration, when people believe in their message, they begin to lose their own agency. Biden administration is strengthening the belief in oneself, and they want to say, hey, the government calls the shots, we'll tell you what to do. I rest my case.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I say something,
Sure, go ahead.
comment, please? Biden is working for rest of the world to fix their problems. But we have a lot of problems here. He should be fixing US problems, not other countries' problems. And here, unemployment is growing up. Prices are going sky high. And there's going to be a recession pretty soon, the way things are happening. I think he should be spending time here with, US people and government to get their, act together. That's all I have to say. Arun said, everything positive, but I gotta say, he should be here instead of traveling around.
Good
Okay.
point.
Okay, go
Very
ahead,
good.
that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you. Next person maybe, and is in the politics is Puneet Aluwalia. So maybe we'll welcome his comments after this one.
Right.
Paji, in fact, I have to say, Joe Paji said the very correct thing. When
Yeah.
I'm campaigning, in fact, today we had two events.
Mhm.
And what the Democratic overreach is doing, and Amrik Paji, don't take it personally. It is. I see and I say what I see on the ground, Paji. They're really killing small businesses. It is easy to give away taxpayers' money because it's not your money to give. Free colleges, infrastructure bill. Right now, I'll tell you why the things are becoming very expensive. I was at this Gourmet's restaurant earlier this afternoon hosting our campaign event. They have shut him down with COVID crisis. They say you can serve liquor till 10 o'clock, but keep open at 12 o'clock. Which restaurant can do that? Second, his cost of chicken wings, I'm giving you one small example, has gone up by 3 times. And the reason why the chicken wings have gone up by 3 times is because nobody wants to transport that. People are getting checks sitting at home. There is no incentive for people to come out and work hard. When a government keeps giving people money while sitting at home, it is going to lead to procrastination, and the entire work hard and achieve the American dream is now basically becoming towards socialism. And then they want to defund the police. I have spoken to sheriffs and I've spoken to deputy sheriffs. When a deputy sheriff's wife sits at home with a shotgun outside her porch because her 3 kids are sleeping, because the gangs, the drug dealers and the drug peddlers and the sanctuary cities are basically have a free superhighway to our states and our counties and our cities, that's unacceptable. This is chaos in making. And who will pay for it? The people like us who are immigrants, who are the successful, the community which has been aspired and inspired by a lot of people. We are the ones who will be the target because we are the ones who live in big homes, drive the best cars, and we're seeing socialism and radicalism coming into it. This divisiveness, like we at every word of us, we say Vaiguru. Vaiguru Khalsa, Vaiguru Di Fateh. And the Democratic Party, they don't believe in God. In God we trust is being taken off. Even in the Pledge of Allegiance, they want to take the God away. The prayers are out of the schools. We have to see ideologically which way that this party is going. And we are the most important community which can play an integral role, because guess what? There are only so many limited people who can change the outcome of the election. Hence the reason why, Virji, I am urging everyone that as Sikh community, as a proud Indian American community and Asian Americans, which are the most successful, have the most to lose too. I feel this country is going in the wrong direction, and Joe Paji was very correct. He's more concerned about doing the kumbaya. We had for the first time a very good peace in Abraham Accord, where first time the Israelis and the Saudis and the Americans were in peace. And now they want to reverse back, going back to the Iranian. They want chaos. But anyway, that's a little outside. I can carry on because I see so many issues, Balinjar Party. I just don't want to control the conversation, Virji.
Well, you're right in many ways. I agree that he announced the $15 an hour wage. You know, small business will be killed with the $15 an hour. And you can see the administration in California in the last round, people sitting in the jails got the checks at home from EDD. So what? It's a bad. They cannot administrate things properly. That's what the problem is. So I think I agree with what you have said.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving next,
Vinodji.
Manoj, okay, let's go.
Sir, the concept of what the previous Puniji said, today in the world, when there is a crisis, we say socialism. There is no socialism anywhere in the world. But there is a socialism everywhere in the world. What is socialism? First, we should understand. Don't give the slogan, radical left or like that. Whether it's Republican or Democrats, they all believe in welfare of the people. Number one. What is social security? Social security is a concept of socialism. What is a Medicare? It is a concept of socialism. What is the minimum wage? It is a concept of socialism. So do not project socialism something radical. Everywhere in the world, whether it's anywhere, it's Australia, Germany, Canada, everywhere, minimum needs are called socialism. This socialism, I say in Hindi, badnaam. Sometimes there was a time when they want to finish social security. Will the Republican finish social security? If they finish social security, then
Vinodji, what is your point?
okay.
I want to hear your point. There's no
My
socialism.
point is your points. We are getting a socialism USA which is not correct.
So you
As
don't believe
Banjindri said, they are not doing. Yes, sir. As Banjindri said, they are doing $15 minimum wage. They are not doing one day. It is a phased, like in 2022, like 2023, like so. People have to survive.
So you mean to say,
Your
Vinodji,
interest
that
rate
$15 minimum wage is living wage?
I'm not
That's
saying
what
today.
they're calling them.
Sir, I am not saying today. They are phasing out. Slowly and slowly they will increase. People have to survive. If you do not get a minimum wage, your price is high. On one side, you want a low interest rate. On other side, when the low interest rate, commodity prices go up, food goes up, housing go up, rental go up, gas goes up. How the person will survive? Will not violent? Will not take gun?
Vinodji, I think you have
in this
misconstrued. If I may correct you, if I may do that, we all came to America on the free enterprise system. You really mean to say all of these people who are sitting along with me?
There cannot be anywhere free enterprise system in the world.
We do have a free enterprise system, so that's the reason.
It is a false image given to the American people by Republicans. That state.
I think you're anti-Republican and anti-free enterprise system. But anyway, I don't want to carry on because you are on a different platform.
No. How you define anti? Because you are saying
that Republican wants to take this away. Republican, we believe very fundamentally that our rights come from God, not from government.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I think.
Okay. Hold on, everybody. We will continue that counter argument. Let me give the chance to the next person in the Peshawar Singh. Let's see what he says, and then after Peshawar Singh is Amrik Singh. So
Thank you. Thank you, Bhajendraji. Yes, I just like to add to what Vinodji is saying, that socialism is not a dirty word. It is not something to be scared of, especially for the people who come from Punjab and who believe in Sikhism. There was no bigger socialist than Guru Nanak. In fact, if you define in American terms, socialism also means the acceptable face of capitalism.
Right.
When the people in America talk about socialism, they are not talking about the socialism as some people
Communism.
think in China or in Russia or in maybe in some other country. That Biden's first speech of State of the Union was remarkable, apart from many other things, for two main reasons. He is just setting up his program, which the Democrat Party has, run over in the election, and he's just confirming that he is going to do that. And how he is going to do that? He is the first president I have ever heard closely who is actually point by point telling the people how he is doing it. But people like it or not, his formula of doing it, but he is telling you also that how he is doing. But as I say, it's remarkable on two those points. One is that while making introductions, the first time ever in the history of America, he said, Madam Vice President. There has
Yeah.
always been a Mr. Vice President. This was the first time that he used the word Madam Vice President, and there is a woman who is a Vice President of the most powerful country. And the other remarkable thing is that he brought the whole discussion or thinking concentrating on the climate control. That is the existence of, you call it socialism or capitalism, any ism will survive only if we survive.
Okay, Amrik Singh.
Haji, first of all, I want to thank everybody for your attendance. You all have different and very valuable views. So thank you all, first of all. I want to focus on Biden's speech, the State of the Union speech. Those are the things he would like to do and something that he wants to do. Regardless of the party that we are in, we should put America first. America should be the focus of our president. He has to, number one, I personally believe that it's a job of our president to put America at the top of the table for the rest of the world. America needs to secure its place in the world. It was a leader, it should be the leader. Pulling out of every kind of world organization, I did not really like what Trump did. It's nothing to do with the Republican Party, but if you pull out of the WHO, if you pull out of the NATO, you pull out of everything, you're kind of isolationist. So I'm glad that he's joining it, and I'm glad that he's putting the environmental issues up front, because empowerment is very important. So I liked those parts of his speech. How he achieves it is a different matter. And regarding the taxes, it's a very simple formula. When the Republicans come in, they give the tax break to the corporations. When the Democrats come in, they give the tax break to the people, or in the form of maybe welfare or whatever. Either way, what we need to do is to keep both of them in check. And that's where I think I support very much Arun Baumitraji, because he's running for an independent, and he will be the control, so much as to hold the balance of power. But on the other side, I really, really like Puneet Ahluwalia as a young, dynamic Republican coming up. He will be the voice of an immigrant at a very, very important position. So I support you. But Puneetji, do ask you that
Haji.
please think about Guru Nanak, think about Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Guru Nanak said, Pavan Guru Pani Pita. Do not pollute the air, do not pollute the water, do not pollute the earth. That's what it means. So environmental is important. Otherwise, it's just a State of the Union address. We'll see what happens. Thank you.
Yeah, I just like to say, Guru Nanak didn't only say, don't do this. I think what he meant was that you will be dead if you don't.
Yeah, okay.
Can I, if I may take a minute of rebuttal? First thing, Vinodji, I didn't mean to be very curt with you, but I will say that first thing is there's this opinion that we Republicans don't want to have clean air, clean energy. We are the ones we plant more trees. We want to leave this country as conservatives better in the position we found it. But the problem is that just to get to electric cars or wind, solar energy doesn't mean that we compromise our coal industry and our petroleum industry. You all live in California, I live in Virginia. We breathe the best air. But the problem we have is that why do you want to pay $700 million of our taxpayer monies to countries who are not going to abide by the same rules and laws, which is China, India, and other nations? They will still be polluting their rivers. They'll be still polluting and putting out carbon dioxide in the air. So why is it being penalized on American entrepreneurship? And you can talk about that, okay, we want to have clean air in the United States. We already have clean air. We've achieved all the goals. And it's not that we're living in isolation, that the United States has been able to do it in China and India will do it in 2030. So that is a concept which is quite unmatched. And if the seas were really rising, I just don't understand why former President Obama would be buying an oceanfront home. So that's something very important to understand. And I believe that when Virji was saying that Pashora Sabji was saying that social justice, social programs are all very good. But that should be left to us, because if we leave the government to take care of the poor and the needy, then it will be the most bureaucratic and in one of the most uneven, unbalanced fashion, because it's not fair. That's what I'm saying. And socialism is that if socialism was so great, you should ask the people in Yugoslavia and Russia where they did not have food. And this is where we are coming to in this country, where we will look for food and we will see that, oh, this is all going to go on.
Thank you.
Padi.
So let's give the floor to the independent.
All right, guys, can I be the independent? Change my hat over here if it's okay with you. We do need a balance of all these issues. One of the issues which is very important, and I think we got to, be innovative and growth, is salt, sales and local taxes. Anybody has any interest in that? People living in California, our taxes are capped at 10%. We cannot deduct the sales tax. We cannot deduct the property taxes. Even the homes are much higher in New York and LA. And I'll tell you how it affects. For example, in New York, 1% of the population, 1% of the population pays 40% of the taxes in New York State. So if half a person leave, what's going to happen to the state? So it's very important, whether you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, we want to see the issues in this forum and try to see which are the ones we would like to support and get around to our elected representatives who are there. We got to wait till Puneet gets on, gets elected. But in the meantime, does anybody have any opinion on the salt tax, sales and local asset taxes? I mean, when President Trump in 2017 came with the tax rate for largest corporations, it was $1 trillion which he gave in cutting down taxes and all. So salt raises $90 billion. I know it's a lot of money. Now the Democrats would like to use it for another pet project is Section 8, giving free vouchers over there. I don't really believe in all. I think we came all over with, a lot of us came with very modest.
Thank you. Thank you. Joe Sandhu.
I will like to speak.
Okay, let's go ahead.
During Trump regime, the benefits being given to the corporate sectors, they all had buyback programs of the stocks. They did not invest anything in the industry. No jobs created. If you see the data, Second point is, as Punitji said, that if China is so bad, who was the first person, USA, who had an agreement with China on trade and commerce? It was the
Nixon.
Republican Party. Right? Just one. It was the Republican Party. Can you have all, if the China does not come in the environment, cancel all the trades coming and the products coming in USA? Will any party in USA will do? Where is the Republic? Because the basic question is, what is the cost of production? What are the cost bases on which you will get cars, electronic items? If you go to any store in US, any store, can you give the same products at the price of what China is giving? The China imports $800 billion products in USA. You want a cheap car, best car? You want a cheap products? If you go any store, even mask is made in China.
Thank you. I have to make sure everybody gets a turn. Next one is Joe Sandhuji.
That's
Because well said so far. It does not matter Republican taking the lead in the country or Democrat taking the lead. They got to fulfill the needs of the citizens. It does not matter poor or rich. But I think, don't mind if you are a Democrat. Mostly Democrat presidents, so far I have seen in 49 years, they help poor people, they help non-working peoples, and they do, provide them all kind of facilities. They do not control the, any people. They don't want them to get progress. Those are working harder from their heart. See, but this is what when brought me from a Democrat to Republican, because they are at least honest. They will tell you up in front. They won't hide behind. Okay, like here, God created everybody equally. Okay, this government and law enforcement should be working to improve the environment of this country, and they should reinforce some kind of laws which will prevent hate crime in schools, organizations, religious organizations, or and industrial organizations. They gotta spread that word. Everybody is equal, and there nothing should be discriminated. Okay? That's when that comes into this country, then country will be one of the top country in the world.
Okay, thank you, Sandhuji. Thank you. Next one is Pishora Singh. Your
I don't know whether you have heard about it or not, Punitji, that the pity or the irony with the Americans is that most of the Republicans, they could not prove that Trump was not really a Republican. And republicanism is much bigger than Trump was, and
Right.
probably that is something to be talked about.
okay, go ahead, Amrik Singh. Any
Okay, Ji. First of all, I want to say to Puneet Ji, I'm looking at your name, and Puneet stands for. If you
True.
read Sukhmani
Sure.
Sahib, it says Pavitr, Puneet.
Neat.
So you get better
Can
and
they
better
can
at
they
the
can
end.
they Puneet
get
Sundhi
Puneet.
Pavitra?
Okay, so that's your name. So you have to live up to that. Please,
sorry,
please.
sorry.
America exists because of a private enterprise. America exists because of it's not a big government. Big governments is in Russia. Big governments, they just keep the people poor. America gives opportunity. It affords opportunity for everybody. That's why we are all doing so well. We've learned it and we've taken advantage of it. So I'm all for supporting that America should remain, the government should stay out of business. Big government is bad government. Democrats are for big government. That's not a good thing. Second thing I wrote down that, yes, if you're going for solar energy, all the solar panels are built in China. I said it earlier on, and I say it now, we have to bring back the manufacturing jobs to America.
Agreed.
So please, and last of all, we want to support your campaign. Baumitra ji and Ahluwalia ji, tell us what we can do and how we can do it to support your campaign. Thank you.
Okay, let me make a comment before we go ahead. This morning I was watching a program where Zakaria brought this issue about political sectarianism. So the political parties have become enemies of each other. So I think the most important thing is that bipartisan, if we can bring back and build this country together again. So thank you. Thank you for.
Bajendra ji, can I say something?
Sure.
Okay. I'm favoring Joe Sandhu, whatever he said it that one. We always worried about China. We are always worried about India, always worried about other things. Keep in mind, my philosophy is very simple. We have to be, like Amrish Sidhu said, we have to be bring essential manufacturing here.
To this country.
This is not acceptable.
No.
Democratic are throwing a money to the illegal people. They are throwing all money that other places. This is like a nonsense. Their money is your money.
Yep.
This is not acceptable. Nobody talk about the border. Banoji very worried about China. Cheaper, cheaper, cheaper. I can, everybody has a different philosophy. I have a half minute, please. My purpose is, if we make essential manufacturing, we have to be keep manufacturing here, that automatically job will be created. People have that permanently have a happiness. They will pay tax. They will buy houses. Right now, we just look every second. I'm looking made in China. I hate it. I'm manufacturing. I'm a design engineer. I hate. I'm telling you today. We have to keep it. Nobody talk about jobs. Nobody talk about manufacturing. This is not acceptable. Thank you, Baljinder. Please, ji, very short, be a final, please. Then Arun ji close it, please. Please, ji.
I
It's
would
okay,
want to
go
say
ahead.
thank you for being again to this fun group. Even though I've not met you in person, but I'm looking forward to seeing you in person because I believe there'll be a lot of fun. I do want to have a respectful dialogue with the Democratic Party till they listen, till they're ready to listen. But as he said, we want to think Virginia first, America first. Once we think of that, everything all translate. But you can't put in these nuances or with regulations, minimum wage, unions, which makes it very hard for businesses to succeed in.
Arun ji.
And
All right.
Arun ji, you too.
All right, Gary's saying thank you so much for organizing this forum. I salute all of the fellow panelists for your knowledge, wisdom, experience, and the courage to say rebut each other's when you agree or don't agree. However, I would just say, let's make a subject. Why did manufacturing go overseas? I would like to share with you why we cannot bring all those industries back
Okay,
for
thank
another
you.
time. Thank you.
Thank you.